People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for watching, rocking and tuning in each and every time. It's Monday morning. For context of this video, Arsenal beat Bournemouth yesterday. Man United have lost to Newcastle. Spurs lost on Saturday. So the Premier League climate in the international break's a bit of a weird one. But from an Arsenal perspective, I've got some things to say or some things I would like to touch on and just offer my opinions. First I would like to speak about is William Saliba. Now, he's obviously returned on loan to St Etienne, the club we bought him from. 18 years of age, 19 in March. He's a very good prospect, and he obviously had a bit of a tough time with injuries. I know Arsenal fans would know that, for those of us that are trying to watch St Etienne like myself when we can. He's kind of back and fully fit now. Well, getting his way back. He came off the bench in not this game, last game, forgive me if I'm wrong, and today he started at right back. Now, he's a centre-half, and I know us Arsenal fans were getting excited by the prospect of a new centre-half with Saliba long-term, or Holding and Saliba long-term as a partnership, or just having them two as options. Saliba is 19 years of age, over 6 foot, very good technically. The potential is there. What we can't do is get excited of looking at the player he's going to be tomorrow and not focusing on what he is now, because I do think with potential and the way the climate is, that's what fans typically mistakenly do. He played at right back. Now, we've had some issues. He's a centre-half, but we've had some issues at right back this season. Chambers been doing his thing against United and Bournemouth. Let's not lie, Maitland-Niles has had good games and he hasn't been terrible at right back. This last little few games there's been a lot of a drop-off, but in general, he's done what he can at right back. There's been times he's obviously switched off, but in a large part, he's done his thing in the fullback role. But he's not a fullback. Bellerin is not fit. So potentially, Mustafi's been used there last season. So potentially, if he's in the squad next season, we want him to be playing centre-half. But if he can do a job for the team at right back, then it'd be good. At right back, obviously, he didn't get forward too many times. That's not his skill set of sort. I mean, he's good bringing out from the ball at centre-half, but he's obviously going to feel a bit awkward on the right-hand side. He did do it a couple of times. I did think he made some important blocks in the game. I think in the 24th minute, he made an excellent defensive header, but he headed it into a dangerous area. So that shows there isn't much he could do, but them things there come with experience. I think he did quite well against Memphis Depay, because Memphis Depay was trying to get on the outside of him, on the outside of him a lot. I think Saliba did well, man. For context, Lyon lost the game more or less in the 90th minute or something like that, people. Very late on in the game, if I remember correctly, they conceded. And St Etienne had a young centre midfielder on, and they had another young guy. I'll probably do a video about them. But it was a decent game. Didn't get to see Jeffrey Adelaide. Don't think Alwa had the best of games. But our man, Saliba, had a promising game. And what we need from him is just to get more experience, to get fully fit, and just to come back to Arsenal as a better player and a more confident player in regards to the Premier League. So yeah, speaking of centre-halves, is there a possibility Mavropanos goes on loan in January, people? I say that because he's back fit now. He's in the 23s. He's looking good in the 23s, people. But that's only 23s. Mavropanos is at the age he needs to play football. No disrespect to him, but he's playing in the Greek top league. No disrespect to that. But that's going to be a big jump off from the Premier League, and he hasn't had many times to really get experience. Is the case because he does need to play football. He's been robbed of injuries even last season, but if he's not going to get significant game time here, is it worth sending him on loan to in January, whether that's to Germany or to a team in the Premier League? I think it could be worth it if he's not going to play games. You'd like to hope he gets a look in the Europa League, but if he's fit and Mavropanos is getting a knock on the head of him, I mean, not Mavropanos, Mustafi, what does that say? Again, I do think we need to take our time with Mavropanos, and I think that's what the club's doing, because them groin injuries, you've got to be careful, but he runs the risk of really not developing, because 23 foot wasn't going to help him, and he's been robbed of football really and truly since he's come here, people. So I'd like to see him go out on loan if he isn't going to be able to get football here, because obviously we've got some good options. His time will probably come, but you never know. Away from us, and you've got Eddie Nkietah, people. Now, Eddie's been at Leeds, he's under Bielsa, it's a good learning curve for him. I'm trying not to panic, people, but he's second choice to Patrick Bamford. Bamford is the first choice striker. He's done his thing this season. but he hasn't scored in 6 games. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So that means Eddie, how comes Eddie ain't started or got a look in? Again, he's got to be patient. Again, loss of form happens. Again, loss of form with another player doesn't correlate to Eddie starting, but I don't know what Eddie's got to do to start beyond obviously what I'm not seeing as a fan, or not even a Leeds fan, and as an Arsenal fan looking in and out. He's obviously coming off the bench, but he's yet to play 90 minutes in the league. He started in the cup, and it is, the longer it goes on, the more concerning it does get for me, people, because we're in October now. Now, I trust Bielsa. I think he's developed him already. I think he's probably learned a lot to stay in his career already, young Eddie Nkietah. But obviously, I think he should have went out on loan. I know a lot of people would say he would have got games this season and whatnot, and they're true. But in the summer, you can't expect Eddie to sit there and hope for injuries and things. It's funny how football works out. But that's the thing, people, and it's almost unlucky because Martinelli's taking advantage of playing up front, which could have been his. Tyrese John-Jules been injured. Balogun's been injured. I would like Greenwood to get a look in, but I don't know if that's the thinking. But Eddie, at 20 years of age, he made the right decision. He's made 6 appearances in the Championship, scoring 2 goals and getting 1 assist, people, I believe. Oh, no, I think that's all comps. So I'll bring up his Championships. Oh, yeah, he has, people. He's got 4 goals in total, 2 in the Championship in 6 appearances, 2 and 2 in the League Cup. But he's only played... He's only played 6 times, people. And how many times has he completed 90 minutes in the league? There's not too many times. He hasn't. He came on for... He was in the squad against Forest. He was on the bench against Wigan. Against Brentford, he scored and he got 13 minutes. He obviously got 16 against Stoke. He got 29 against Swansea. He got 20 against Barnsley. He got 11 against Derby. He got 45 against Charlton. So it's not really plain sailing, people. He obviously got 90 minutes and 78 respectively against Stoke and Salford. You're thinking, when does he get a look in? Because we want to see him complete 90 minutes and things like that. It's down to him to show the coach what he might be missing. Because again, taking off my Arsenal cap there, obviously, rightly or wrongly, there's a reason as to why Eddie isn't starting ahead of Bamford. What he can't do is get experience overnight. What he can't do is develop physically as much as Bamford overnight. But he's got different strengths. All he can do is stay patient. But I mean, as much as it goes on, I am getting a bit concerned. I do trust Bielsa because obviously Leeds gave a presentation to Arsenal. So there's got to be a plan behind, a method behind the madness of Eddie not playing. But as an Arsenal fan, you'd have liked Eddie to play 90 minutes. I don't think he's lost confidence or anything like that. But that's just what I'd have liked to have seen as a fan of my club. So we've moved on from Saliba and Bamford respectively. Where's them stats I had, people? Martinelli. Now, I didn't want to use my tactics board, but I like it, people. What I like, people, is now at the club there's some genuine competition for places, but definitely on the left and right hand side respectively, people. Apologies, I'm not prepared. This is all off the dome. I actually was not trying to use a tactics board today. But what I like, people, is there's 4 players competing for 2 spaces. Let's just put a striker because it just looks better on the thing. But you've got, let's just say you've got 2 on the left, you've got 2 on the right, people. Respectively, or however you want to say it, you've obviously got Martinelli, Saka, Pepe, and Reece Nelson. Now, Nelson is clearly the one, out of all the 3 young players, no disrespect to him because I believe in all of them. I don't want to compete them all together. But he's clearly behind in the pecking order compared to... In fact, in terms of minutes played in the league and that, he's probably ahead of Martinelli. But current form in terms of the shift in the last few games, Saka is the first name on the team sheet on the left. We have to persist with Pepe on the right. Then you're probably looking at Martinelli coming in, whether that's playing up front, doing a job, or on the left wing. Then you've got Nelson as second choice. Now, these things can change. Nelson can go ahead in the pecking order. Me, I like it. I believe in all of them. I think it's what I could have been blessed for because we never had these 4 options in the squad in terms of playing on the flanks last season. So I couldn't have wished for more people. For me, Saka's nailed it down. Right now, it's Saka's spot. Left-hand side, he provides balance. And obviously, when Lacazette comes back, there could be a serious problem. I mean, you can play Lacazette behind as a support striker thing, and you got Saka and Pepe, or you can do a 4-4-2, which I think I have a video on. Or you can Saka might just have to come out the teams for Aubameyang to go out there and Lacazette, or whoever. But for me, it's genuine options, people. Saka is 18 years of age. Let's take our time with him. He's not going to be amazing every week, even though he more or less is. But he's nailed that down. Simple but effective. He beats his man. The man's strong like an ox. Shout out to his mother and father for giving him them real hard food, so he's strong and that, and growing him up proper. He's solid. That left-hand spot is his until loss of form or just whatever happens, innit? Pepe, we've got to persist with Pepe. We bought him for 72 million. But bringing in Martinelli, the little minutes that Martinelli's got to look in, people. What I like about Martinelli, he's where's the I don't even know where. Let's make you a defender. I don't even know where it's gone. But what I like about him, he doesn't really hug the touchline. He's like an inside forward. Like, he snaps at heels. He tries to run. He's running back. I think I saw some stats, people, that despite being on the field the longest, he made some aerial duels and stuff like that. Let me try to find it. Martinelli contested more aerial duels, 8, more than any other player in the game today, despite only playing the last half an hour, people. So that's a very positive stat from Martinelli, man. I really like that, man. He puts himself around. He tracks very well. He presses very well. I really like what Martinelli is bringing to the table. And before I got sidetracked, he don't hug the touchline. He can develop into an inside forward, people, man. You can tell that he don't really care for this wide option here. Like, obviously he goes out there, but he's more here, people. He's more trying to take a man down here and eventually come inside here. And I think it's promising. His movement especially, man, in and around these areas. The way he links up is so perfect, man. He drops deep. I really like Martinelli, man. The way the little areas of pockets Martinelli picks up, man. And he could be a very good option. Imagine having Martinelli, Nelson or whatever, or Pepe or whatever, a striker. We can have some very good options, man. I really am impressed with Martinelli and Saka. They earned their spots. And I think people always, myself included, question Emery's pragmatic approach and is he being a bit too pragmatic? But at the end of the day, he threw 2 teenagers out there when it's only 1-0, where we kind of need these 3 points. So credit where due. I think Nelson will step up, people. I think Nelson will step up. I think he will have his time. Everyone will have his time. And it's good for the squad. When did we have these 4 genuine wide options? Now, I know Pepe is not in the best of form, but he's clearly bringing something to the table that we lacked to a degree last season. He can take people on. Nelson, once his decision-making is patterned the same. Saka is scary the way he's taken to life. And Martinelli is scary because we don't really know that much about him. I know people can claim they're watching him, but we don't really know much about him. So for me, everything's a surprise. What has struck me is the player he can be tomorrow, people. His movement is lovely. He's very tenacious in how he presses. He snaps at heels. He's not the strongest, but he's down for the physical fight. So when he fills out a bit, gets a bit experience and improves just according to age, he could be a goal scoring sort of, for me, Martinelli could be a goal scoring sort of inside forward sort of thing, similar to how you see the Liverpool strikers rotating. But you can't rule out up front. I think Nelson will have his time. People, obviously, what game was it? In the Europa League, Nelson had an encouraging game. I think Nelson will come good, man. Nelson will come good. I like him on the left, but admittedly now I think Nelson's got to move over to the right-hand side, people, because he looks a bit better there. I'd like Pepe to move to the left because, in theory, obviously, when Pepe's got the ball, people, on the right flank, he's either going to take him on or cut in and do his skills. And because of the form he's in, I don't necessarily think that's the best case. But in your field on the left, obviously the same applies. But he's left-footed, so in theory, there's less things to think about. He either takes his man on, passes it home, or cuts inside. And he's on the left-hand side, so more time he's going to cross it more. So he's got less decisions to make. So could that help with clarity of mind purposes? And because obviously on the right-hand flank, you've got a lot to think about. Obviously, I'm reaching a tiny bit, but I'm happy that we've got 4 legit wide options that we didn't have, people. I thought I'd just bring up some stats to round this up. Apparently, shots by the games we've played. Against Tottenham, we had 26 shots. Villa, we had 21. Burnley, 15. Bournemouth, 12. United, 10. 9 against Liverpool, where we expected that. 8 against Newcastle. And 7 against Watford. We know just shooting and creating attacking its circumstances to have shots or have goal-scoring opportunities has been an issue for us at this moment in time. I've copied this from Obino's Twitter, and he said the thing that those 2 high shot counts have in common is that we went behind at home and had to chase the game. Apparently, obviously with the international break, we've won 2, drawn 3, and lost 1 of our last 6 Premier League games. So it is what it is. Apparently, in regards to our 12 shots, we had just 4 after the 35th minute and just 2 on target at a point. And I think we only had 1 in the second half. I could be wrong. And obviously, that's at home to Bournemouth. So while it's another game similar to Burnley and Newcastle that we get the result, are we necessarily playing the best? And these themes were here when we was 22 games unbeaten. And obviously, sometimes you get away with it. I'm not saying we was lucky to win, but you win and we don't speak about these things. But as you lot know, with the end of last season, when these things don't happen, they're brought to the forefront. And I think it's healthy to discuss these, not to panic where there's no need to panic, but to discuss these things where they're appropriate, people. I also want to shout out to Joe Willock as well, off topic. I mean, I'm scared to see what positively scared to see what midfielder he's going to become, because I think he's got captain material long term. I'm not saying right now. And I personally prefer him in the pivot. I don't see why Joe can't take Xhaka's space long term or just now in that pivot sort of role. But obviously he's seen as an attacking mid. Him and Ceballos are seen as more or less the same player because they never both really are on the same pitch. I like how he's developing, man. If his final ball improves just a bit, just of that level, I think he could be a top player, man. And I like our young players. Again, these are options we didn't have last season. Last season, I said Joe should go out on loan if he's not going to get a look in, which he is now in the first team. Purely because if you watched him at under-23s, Saka was badding it up, so was Emery and Tyrese John Jules. But so obviously was my man. My man was just destroying every game. Joe Willock, especially when we played in that cup Checo trades against grown individuals. He's doing roulette and nutmegging. He was just on another level. And it's nice to see him and Saka, seeing them play against teams like Green Rovers. I can't remember the team name. But against, no disrespect, but against them, and now they're playing in the Premier League. So long may it continue. But I don't think I've got anything else to add, really and truly, people. So I'm going to keep it moving. Obviously, it's a good week because we've seen Spurs and United lose and Chelsea have won, and we're all in the mix for top 4. So on that note, people, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking as usual. God bless.